So around this time last year, we had to run a campaign for a client where, as part of this campaign, we had to get some insights from South African business coaches who were working very closely with small businesses. And interestingly, a lot of them, when we asked them about the main challenges that they have to coach small businesses through, most of them actually mentioned that the main struggles that small businesses have is sales and marketing. Small businesses do not know how to acquire consistent sales and market themselves, make themselves visible enough for their ideal clients to find them, right? And this is the main reason why South African small businesses fail, right? Like, businesses usually fail because they run out of money. And I don't want to oversimplify this because there are so many, there's a plethora of reasons, as to why a small business would fail. I mean, apart from cash flow issues, there could be lack of financial literacy, there could be operational problems, lack of access to funding, access to markets, etc. So most businesses are missing the most important element, which is actually finding the right customers and keeping those customers, right? Because any business problem, and I'm saying this as someone who's been in business for 9 years, most business problems can be solved, right? But if we do not have money coming into the business consistently, then you don't have a business. So the main reason many businesses fail is because they run out of cash. And why do they run out of cash? Most of the time because they're not making enough sales. Why are they not making enough sales? Many are not visible enough, but the problem that I'm seeing now is that small businesses have a business branding problem, and that's what I want to discuss in this video. So I've been a marketer for many years now. It's probably been over 10 years, and I've run Jedi Marketing for 9 years, and we've worked with many different types of businesses over the years. And it's given me a lot of insights about, sales psychology, marketing psychology, what actually makes people buy, what actually makes a brand stick around for a long time. But a few months back, we actually started creating content for Jedi Marketing consistently, right? Before, when we were only operating as an agency, we were only working with a handful of clients at a time. I mean, we are a small business, so we can't take on too many clients at once. So at most, we'd work with about 5 clients at a time and would work deeply with them, right? Getting to understand the intricacies of their businesses. But yeah, months back, I decided that I actually wanted to make marketing more accessible to small businesses who cannot necessarily afford agency services, but still need marketing education. And so we started posting quite a bit on social media, and the social media platform where our message actually got the most traction was TikTok. And it's been so interesting seeing, the overwhelming positive response we've gotten from small businesses on TikTok. Even as we were creating content, I was very intentional about collecting data in terms of what it is small businesses struggle with. Because as a business owner myself, we like to assume that we know what people want, that we know what people are struggling with, and you always actually have to ask people, else you'll come to the wrong conclusion. I'm very surprised that this is the case, because you think that you know so much about your industry, but you never do. You learn a lot from actually asking people what their needs are, what they're struggling with. We started building a mailing list, and on the back of that, we had a survey, or we have a survey in type form. We collect information on what it is small businesses are needing, what it is they're struggling with, what their gaps in their knowledge are as it comes to social media, content creation, online marketing. Because that's what we do, right? We teach businesses how to build a strong brand through content creation online, and not even just build a strong brand, but how to structure your messaging, how to structure your videos to ensure that you actually make sales, not just posting things that people like or make people follow you, but how do you actually translate your content into sales? So that is the crux of what we do. But yeah, I made sure that we collect that information in terms of what it is businesses struggle with. And most businesses said that number one, they're having trouble with attracting the right clients. So then I dug deeper into looking at what are the types of businesses and brands that actually follow us on social media. What businesses are people opening? Like, why can people not get leads or sales? What's the problem, right? Because, me being a marketer, for me, that's like probably the simplest part of running a business, right? Making sales. So why are people struggling with this? What I actually found surprising is that many people have started brands in very saturated industries. So I even made a list here. I'm looking at my notes now. But we have a lot of skincare businesses following us. We have homeware businesses following us, hair care businesses, clothing businesses, cleaning services, food businesses, events, decor, catering. All of these industries are very saturated, and also service-based businesses, right? So we have quite a lot of coaches and consultants following us, but people in similar industries. There are those outliers. I mean, I think I saw someone on the mailing list. Who was that business cat on the mailing list that I was like so surprised? Something about funeral homes. What business was that?
I think they make tombstones.
Yeah. So there's these businesses where it's, I guess, maybe a little more unique than the others, but these were the main categories that I saw. And one thing I asked myself, when I see these businesses that are in saturated industries, is why are people going to buy from your business? So say, for example, you have opened a skincare business. Why am I going to leave reputable brands that have a long brand history, that have actually penetrated the market, that are scientifically proven to target certain skin concerns? Why am I going to leave brands like The Ordinary, like La Roche-Posay, like Skin Functional, and so many others, K-Beauty? Why would I all of a sudden start buying skin products from a small business that I don't know, right? And it just makes me wonder whether, as small business owners, like, have we actually thought through our business branding? Because for me, when I look at the pages of a lot of these small businesses, I'm just not seeing anything different that you're offering me in comparison to the industry leaders. And how can a business like that actually succeed? And that's the question that I actually want to answer in this video, because I do believe that small brands in saturated industries can succeed, but there are three fundamentals that you need to get right in order to actually nail your marketing. So the first business branding fundamental that you need to nail is, who is your key person, right? This is where you need to start before you even think about marketing. You have to have a very clear picture of who is that person that you're serving, right? And what a business owner would say. So let's go back to the skincare example. So if you are making skincare products, you're probably going to tell me that your markets are South African women, but that is so broad. Every other skincare brand is targeting South African women, and believe me, they have the resources, they have the brand reputation, they have the budget to actually reach South African women. And so there's a problem there. Like, there's no way that you can stand out, in a market like that. So you actually have to become more specific. You have to find a niche within a niche. So I'll give you an example of I think she's a dermatologist who I found online some time back, Dr. V. I forgot her full name. I think it's Dr. Vitan, something along those lines. But she started such a successful skincare brand online through targeting her messaging to women with skin of color, right? She started speaking about skincare for people of color before anyone else was doing that on the internet. And she managed to penetrate that market by showing up week after week, consistently saying that these are the people that she serves, right? And that's how she found her niche within a niche. So when it comes to your own brand, you have to come to that point of clarity and get hyper specific about the needs, the challenges, the desires, the mindset of the person that it is that you're speaking to. So for example, one of our clients who is in the property investing industry, they are property investing mentors. They have started a brand teaching busy professionals how to invest in property to build generational wealth. But they started off with that specificity about who their person is. They said their person are South Africans, Black South Africans, right, who lack knowledge on investing in property, because historically the face of property investing were white males. But they even went further, not just to say any Black South African, but busy professionals, right? Professionals who do not have the time to be running a property investing business full time, but they actually work full 9-to-5 jobs, and they have an interest in building a side income, in building wealth, right? Utilizing their salaries to actually build wealth. And that hyper specificity has made their brand literally blow up within a matter of months, because they know the person who they're speaking to. And it doesn't just come from thin air, right? Like, I'm assuming that you've started a business because you've probably been in the same position that your target audience once was in, right? You know that person. You know that when you were struggling with the same needs and problems and desires of your target audience, you know what your mindset was, and you need to get clear about identifying that, right? And that is how you actually are going to manage to speak to the heart of your key person, right? Let's call them your ideal customer. It's about making yourself the only possible choice for them. And to be honest, this is something you should even be thinking of even from your service development or product development phase. Like, think of that person that you're creating this brand for. Think of this person that you're targeting this message to. Okay, so the second business branding element that you're going to focus on is your key differentiator. In marketing terms, would call it your unique selling proposition. And this is what makes your business stand out in a sea of sameness. So closely related to point number one, which is your key person, what about your product or service is going to stand out to your key customer? And saying we offer great quality products or bespoke services, that just doesn't cut it anymore. Every single business is saying that. It's about what makes you different to your specific person, to your specific target customer. What's going to make them choose you over those big brands that I spoke about earlier, right, in your industry? I was actually watching an interview the other day by a founder that I absolutely love. She owns a fashion brand in the UK called Kekeletso, and she's managed to make it a huge success, but it didn't start off as a success. She actually struggled to move her product. She struggled to sell her product for about 3 years when her business started. And the only time her business actually took off was when she looked at other fashion brands that were killing it in the industry. And she realized that every single fashion business that was making waves, they were selling distinct products, right? Like, there was something distinct about their designs that made them stand out to customers. And so I'm even thinking of some of the product brands that I've seen online, particularly, on TikTok, that have maybe engaged and followed us. And my question is, if you're going to sell me a top like this, I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy from a small brand that I see online when I can just buy this online from Shein, or if I want a better quality version, I can go to Poetry and get one, or to Forever New, right? Like, there has to be something distinct. If you're a fashion brand or a shoe brand, like, what is distinct about your designs that's going to make people leave the large retailers and come and buy from you instead, right? Like, this is the kind of competition you're dealing with, and this is the kind of uniqueness that you need to be able to develop and communicate to your customer. And by the way, like, this is not something that you figure out in one go, right? Like, it does take trial and error. Any business owner knows, I mean, I've been in business for many years. So many things take trial and error. Getting to the crux of what our customers value and need, it's something that takes time, right? It's something that takes conversation with customers, listening to customers. Actually, in the interview that I was watching with the owner of Kekeletso, her name is Fisayo, she said that she does not launch any products now without doing surveys and asking her customers, right? Like, because sometimes what you perceive people want isn't what they really want. And so before she launches a product line, she either posts herself wearing it, sees the comments and reactions that she gets, And sometimes she'll do a poll on her Instagram, but she doesn't launch anything without actually verifying that people actually want it. I think that's a very important part of looking at, our main points of differentiation. I actually asked ChatGPT to give me practical examples for different industries. And so when we look at skincare, I'm actually going to put this on the screen. So skincare, right? Like if you're a generic business, you're going to say natural skincare for all skincare types. Whereas a business with a clear USP would say something like skincare made for South African women dealing with pigmentation caused by harsh sun exposure. Obviously, you being the developer of your own product or service are going to make it relevant to why you have actually developed or formulated this, right? So even with cleaning services, I'm actually thinking about the lady who cleans our office. Her target audience are entrepreneurs, right, and business owners, whereas other cleaning services could make themselves so broad where they say, we clean commercially for corporates, for your home, for your office. And it's like, that's too broad if you're a small business. Like pick one person, understand their needs and problems. So with the lady who cleans our office, she knows that, we're constantly busy. She chooses time to clean the office, like where she knows that it won't be a disruption to our operations. And so she has designed her business to be convenient to entrepreneurs. With some of her other clients, she will clean their offices early in the morning before they get to the office or after hours, right? And so this is why it's just important to nail, like, what is it about your person? What is it about their needs that you're going to fulfill in a way that is different to other people? So this could be functional, right? It could be in maybe the speed at which you offer the service, the convenience in which you provide them. For other people, it could be, depending on the industry, it could be in more creative ways, like the fashion one I spoke about, where when it comes to things like hair care and skincare, where you're solving problems, it's about pinpointing what does your brand or range of skincare or hair care, what problems does it solve? So when I think of the skincare and hair care brands I use, like number one, I know that like my daily serum, right? I use the K-Beauty and US serum, right? Because it has a unique formulation of niacinamide and tranexamic acid that actually targets hyperpigmentation and brightens my skin, right? Like, and unless you give me a better option, like I'm not buying that, right? And with the US serum, I've heard of so many other people and testimonials who have spoken about it, and I buy that for that reason, right? And so even when I look at hair care, right, like the main hair care brand I use is Love Kings. I know that I have a hairline problem. I know that they have the strongest formulation in a hairline serum, or so I've heard, that actually works to bring people's hairlines back. So I'm using that, right? I use their hair spritz, like literally my favorite hair spritz, because it's literally the only hair spritz that I feel truly hydrates my hair. I have locks, so it truly hydrates my hair. It just gives my hair like a bounce and a lovely scent and moisture that no other products do without like clogging up my hair pores, if that's what I call them. And so it's about that. It's about finding like what it is your customer values and how you're going to be that differentiator for your customer within the context of your industry. One more example, actually. So with Jedi Marketing, with the agency side of our business, so digital marketing is probably one of the most saturated industries in 2025, right? And I figured out a couple of years ago that we're going to have a huge problem in this industry if we're just targeting everyone with our services. And so I realized that most of the clients who were coming to us, not all, but most of the clients who were coming to us were clients in the B2B space, right? Business to business clients. Our clients were marketing their services to other businesses, right? So they weren't marketing their products directly to consumers. And that form of marketing is very different from how you would handle marketing for a brand that is targeted at speaking to customers directly. And so I made the decision that we're only going to focus on being a B2B marketing agency, only focusing on online marketing for B2B businesses. And I even further refined that to us doing LinkedIn marketing for business leaders and CEOs, because I saw a gap in the market at that time. So we went from just being a generic digital marketing industry to a hyper-focused industry, serving the needs of B2B businesses because a lot of agencies weren't doing that, and focusing on LinkedIn marketing, right? Because that's what we found to be effective. And that skyrocketed our sales, because people knew, or people who were CEOs in B2B knew that we could solve marketing problems for them. So finding that key differentiator is just about being really close to your customers' needs, and just simply ask them, guys. You will get so far by just asking people what they need and what it is they value. And then the last business branding element that you need to master is the amplification of your brand. And this is where your online presence becomes so critical, because there's no point in identifying your ideal customer, identifying your unique differentiation or unique selling point, but then not actually knowing how to reach people with your message. So this third part is probably the most important, to be honest. Like, you need to be able to amplify your brand, to reach people with your solution, with your message. And this is where the power of online and social media comes into play. You can do this through content, through thought leadership, through your personal brand. Some people utilize ads. I'm not a huge fan of ads for small businesses. I'll talk about that in a different video. But this is about reaching the people who actually need your solution, right? And you have to be smart about how you do it. So what I found, a lot of small businesses are very disillusioned by online marketing, because they thought that all they need to do is open a social media page and post about their product or service, and people are going to come flocking to them. And what business owners realize is that it actually doesn't work that way. Just going online and posting something does not mean that it's going to reach people, does not mean that people are going to take an interest in it. And so there is a skill to be mastered, right, when it comes to amplifying your brand and when it comes to content creation. And this is the problem that we at JEDI are solving for small business owners, right? Like, this is where we teach business owners actually how to utilize content, how to utilize messaging, how to incorporate elements of storytelling, hooking people in with your online content so that people can actually find you, right? And not just find you, but you can speak to them in a way that makes them take action, that makes them believe in what you're saying, what you're offering, and in the transformation that you're promising to provide. And so, as someone who has done this for 9 years, I'm going to tell you that it is not easy. Social media marketing and content creation, if you've ever tried it for your own business, you know that it is not an easy feat. This is why a lot of small businesses want to outsource it. But unfortunately, many small businesses cannot outsource it, right? Because working with experienced marketers is expensive. Working with marketers who are going to give you the results that you need does not come cheap. And so for me, this is the problem that I'm looking to solve for small businesses. I want to make marketing accessible to small businesses. And that's why I'm here talking to you in this video. I want you to have an understanding of where to find your audience, how to reach them, how to speak to them, how to actually create content that is going to engage them, engage their minds, engage their senses, right? Make them gravitate toward your business, gravitate toward your messaging, and actually take action. So yeah, this is a process. It's not something that you do overnight, but it's also something that doesn't have to be complicated. About 2 months back, I consulted a business coach with some issues that I was having in my business. Within that 2-hour consultation that I had with that business coach, she had managed to come up with solutions, or help me work through solutions in my business that I had spent months and months mulling over, like trying to figure out on my own, Whereas in 2 hours, she came up with a solution for me. And so I truly believe in consulting experts when it comes to areas that you just don't have expertise in. So that is why I've decided to open up consultations for small business owners, right? Creating good content online, positioning yourself as an authority, making your expertise known and available to your audience in a way that's going to attract them to you and actually see the need for what you offer. It is a skill to be mastered. This is the biggest struggle for business owners, creating content that actually hooks an audience, that makes them stop, pay attention and listen, right? And even beyond that, making that connection between content and conversion. It is something many small business owners don't know how to do, and that is what I would like to guide small businesses through. So follow the link in the description or in our bio to see what consultation packages we have available. But in essence, what I'd really like to encourage you to do is master the skill of actually building a strong and authoritative brand online. So stick around, subscribe, continue following our content, and if you really are looking for that one-on-one hands-on guidance, follow the link and we will see you in the next video. Bye.